Man, what a wild day to be an Eagles fan. You could just feel the energy pouring out of the Novacare complex. That post-buy buzz hitting different, especially with three brand new faces rocking that midnight green for the very first time. You could see it in their body language, the smiles, the excitement, like kids unwrapping presents on Christmas morning. But let's start with the guy who might have been the happiest man in the entire city of Philadelphia this week, Jalen Phillips. I've never heard a player sound that grateful to be traded somewhere. This dude wasn't just happy, he was glowing. He said it straight up, this is probably the greatest thing that's ever happened in his life. You could tell he meant every word. Talking about how everyone's been welcoming, how the locker room vibe is unreal, how Philly fans gave him 20 times the Instagram love he's ever gotten before. That's the Philly effect, man. You play with heart, this city gives it back times 1,000. And look, this isn't just a guy talking the talk. You can tell Phillips feels re-energized. He said he loves the weather, loves the environment, loves being part of a team that plays tough, physical, no-nonsense football. The man's got that fire in his voice, and it's contagious. Even Jalen Hurts was asked about Phillips' comments and just smiled, saying he could tell how much it means to be part of what's been built here. You could see it on his face too, that quiet confidence that this locker room isn't just about football. It's about culture, discipline, and brotherhood. But let's rewind for a second, because before practice even started, Howie Roseman pulled another classic Howie move. One of those roster decisions that kind of flies under the radar until you realize how smart it really is. The Eagles opened the practice window for rookie guard and center Willie Lampkin. Now, a lot of fans probably forgot about him because he got hurt early on, but this kid was impressive before that injury. Drafted by the Rams, had a solid preseason, then went down and got waived. The Rams figured they could sneak him back onto their practice squad, but nah, Howie swooped in at the perfect time. 31 teams passed, Philly claimed him, and Rams fans were losing their minds. Here's the thing, Roseman didn't go out and grab some random backup before the deadline because he already knew Lampkin was coming back. He knew this kid could be that depth piece, that long-term development guy to learn under Jeff Stoutland. And if you know anything about Stoutland, you know that's basically getting your PhD in offensive line play. It's a move that's not flashy, but man, it's the kind of smart roster chess that makes the Eagles stay ahead of everyone else. And if Cam Jurgens' knee keeps him limited, you might actually see Lampkin dressing sooner than later. Speaking of that, Thursday's injury report was mostly positive. Jurgens didn't practice, but everyone else was either limited or full go. That bye week couldn't have come at a better time. 6 wins, 2 losses, right in the middle of the grind, and a chance to reset physically and mentally. You could see it in the way guys were moving. Refreshed, focused, hungry again. Now, you know we can't talk about practice without diving into what went down between A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, and the Philly media. It's wild how these stories take off sometimes. Reporters kept throwing weird questions at Smith about A.J.'s role, about routes, about whether the offense is using him the right way, and Devonta wasn't having it. You could see the frustration on his face. He said straight up, he's not a coach, he's a player. His job is to be ready, to go out there, execute, and win games. That's it. Then someone had the nerve to ask if A.J. Brown even wants to be here. And Smith looked at them like, what are you even talking about? He said, has he ever said anything that makes you think otherwise? It was one of those moments where you realize the players are just tired of the noise. Philly media loves drama, but sometimes they forget these dudes just want to play ball. And then, of course, you've got A.J. Brown himself keeping things light. When asked about Jaire Alexander, he laughed and called him his son. Total joke, obviously, just locker room banter. He made sure everyone knew it was friendly, said Jaire's hilarious, and that he's glad to have him on the team now. But the internet being the internet, it blew up anyway. Still, there's mutual respect there. When Jaire talked about seeing A.J. at practice, he said they hugged, laughed about it, and moved on. That's what real competitors do. They go at each other hard on the field, but off it, there's that shared respect. Iron sharpens iron, like they say. And honestly, Jaire's energy is exactly what this defense needs. You could tell from his interviews he's already clicked with Christian Parker, the defensive backs coach. Said they've been meeting constantly, 5 times a day, breaking down film, working on technique. He called Parker his best friend already, which tells you how committed he is to getting back to form. When asked why things didn't work out in Baltimore, Jaire handled it like a pro. Said they had some younger guys they wanted to play, but he's healthy now, confident, and ready to lead again. He wants to bring leadership, energy, swagger, all those intangibles that make a secondary dangerous. The best part, though, was hearing him talk about humility. He said being one of the top corners taught him that no matter how high you get, you've got to stay humble, because there's always a new generation coming up. That hit deep. He mentioned wanting to mentor the young guys like Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, saying they're already talented. He just wants to help them grow. You can tell he's matured a lot. He still has that confidence, that edge, but there's a new mindset there. He knows what it takes to be great again, and he's not afraid to put in the work. When asked if he can get back to being the player he was in Green Bay, Jared didn't even hesitate. Said he has no doubts, none. He's not trying to prove anything to the world. He's trying to prove it to himself. That's the mindset that builds winners. And let's not forget, he grew up right here in Philly. Born at Jefferson Hospital, raised cheering for the Eagles, watching the same team he's now playing for. He said his mom's been a lifelong fan too, even when he was in Green Bay. You know how special that must feel? Coming home to play for your city, in front of family, where it all started. You could see that same spark we saw in Hasan Reddick when he came home. It's that extra layer of pride that you can't coach. And then you've got Jalen Phillips again, breaking down exactly why he thinks he's going to thrive here. He said it's everything. The talent, the culture, the defense, the coaching. You can tell he's stepping into a system built for him. He's not just joining a team. He's joining a contender with real Super Bowl aspirations. He said it's a blessing, and that he feels lucky to be part of it. And man, you can feel that gratitude. Philly gives players purpose. It's not just about the paycheck. It's about playing meaningful football in front of fans who care as much as you do. Lastly, even Michael Carter II, who's a bit quieter, talked about how quickly he's adjusted. Said everyone's been welcoming, the locker room's tight-knit, and that it already feels like a family. That's the magic of this team right now. No egos, no drama, just guys who want to win. Everyone's pulling in the same direction, and it's showing. And the more you look at it, the more this moment feels like a turning point for the Eagles. You can sense the shift in the air, that mix of relief, confidence, and quiet determination that only comes from a team that knows who it is and what it wants. After the bye, everything feels sharper. The energy at the NovaCare complex isn't just about being rested. It's about being reloaded. You've got new pieces settling in, veterans finding their rhythm again, and that coaching staff buzzing with the kind of urgency that says, it's time to make a run. Jalen Phillips is the perfect example of what this reset can do for a player. You can hear it in the way he talks about football again, with that raw joy you don't always see in this league. When he says it's the best thing that's ever happened to him, you can tell he's not exaggerating. Sometimes players get stuck in systems that don't fit them or around cultures that drain them, and then suddenly they land in the right place, a place that brings back that fire. Phillips looks like a man who's found his fire again. He's stepping into a defense stacked with talent, from the front seven to the secondary, surrounded by guys who know how to win. You can already imagine how dangerous he's going to be once he gets a few games under his belt. The Eagles don't just collect players. They collect personalities that feed into their culture. And speaking of culture, Jaire Alexander fits right into that same mold. This man's got a story that just screams Philly. A hometown kid who made it big somewhere else, went through his ups and downs, and now he's back where it all started. You could hear the pride when he talked about it. Being born in Philly, his family still here, his mom cheering for the Birds even when he was wearing a Packers uniform. You just know this city's going to embrace him, especially if he brings that edge he's known for. Philly loves players who talk big but back it up, and that's been Jaire's whole career. But the real growth is in his mindset. He's not that same brash young corner anymore who thought he was untouchable. He's seen how fast the league can humble you, and he's using that as fuel. When he said, "No matter how high you are, you can still be humble," that wasn't a rehearsed line. That was experience talking. He's learned that leadership isn't about yelling or showboating. It's about setting the tone, about being the guy who shows the younger players how to carry themselves through the grind. He mentioned Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean like proud little brothers, saying he just wants to help however he can. You can tell those relationships are already forming. That secondary room is going to be fun to watch. Young, talented, confident, and now guided by someone who's seen both sides of success and struggle. Then there's the Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown situation, which honestly says a lot about the team dynamic. The media can twist things all they want, but what you're really seeing is two competitors who care about winning more than anything else. Smith defending AJ wasn't just about shutting down dumb questions. It was about reminding people that this locker room is tight. They handle things internally, not through headlines. When he looked at that reporter and said, "Has he ever said anything to not be here?" That was the perfect response. These guys aren't running from the city. They're embracing it, even when it gets tough. And let's be real, the Philly media can make things tough. They'll ask 10 versions of the same question, trying to stir something up, but this team's built for that. They've learned how to tune it out. And AJ, man, he knows how to keep things light when he wants to. That whole "he's my son" comment about Jair, that's vintage AJ Brown humor. People forget that these players trash talk all the time. It's part of the game, part of what makes football fun. The fact that Jair laughed it off, gave him a hug, and said, "We're not in Brazil anymore," shows that it's all love. That's the mutual respect between elite players. When they face each other, they're trying to dominate. But when they join forces, they know exactly how dangerous they can be together. That chemistry between them could be the spark that elevates the whole defense. Meanwhile, you can see how well this coaching staff is handling all the new energy. Christian Parker, the defensive backs coach, seems to already have Jair locked in. Jair said they've been meeting constantly, even calling him his best friend now. That kind of relationship between a player and coach is huge. It's what turns raw talent back into production. And with Jair saying this is the best he's felt physically in a long time, man, that's the kind of news fans dream of hearing. He admitted he didn't feel fully right early in the season, that he was still adjusting because he missed those off-season reps. But now, he said he's finally moving like himself again. That's scary for opposing quarterbacks. All of this just feeds into the bigger picture. This team is reloading for something special. You can sense it in the way Jalen Hurts carries himself too. Calm, measured, but you can tell he's proud. When he was told that Jalen Phillips called the trade the greatest thing that ever happened to him, Hurts smiled, said those were strong words, but that he understood exactly what it meant. It's about recognizing what's been built here, a culture that players want to be a part of. It's not just about chasing wins. It's about being in a place where everyone's held accountable, where success feels earned. Even Michael Carter II, who's not the loudest guy in the room, talked about how different it feels. He said everyone's tight-knit, everyone's welcoming, and that there's a real sense of unity. That's rare in the league, especially after trades and roster changes. Usually it takes weeks for new guys to blend in, but in Philly it's instant. Maybe it's the way veterans lead. Maybe it's the culture the coaches have built. Maybe it's just the city itself. FlyEaglesFly News family. Smash subscribe and hit like. Your support keeps the freshest Philadelphia Eagles updates flying in. Drop your take in the comments, and let's talk birds. In what could be the most shocking move of the NFL offseason, whispers around the league are pointing to a blockbuster signing that has left fans and pundits buzzing. The Philadelphia Eagles have reportedly secured a historic acquisition, quarterback Jordan Love. While the Eagles' front office has been tight-lipped, sources close to the team have suggested that this isn't just any signing. It's being hailed internally as the franchise's most significant reinforcement in years. The potential ramifications for both the Eagles and the NFC East are enormous. Love, who has spent his professional career with the Green Bay Packers, has long been regarded as one of the league's most promising young signal callers. His cannon arm, mobility, and poise under pressure have generated comparisons to some of the NFL's elite quarterbacks, and now, according to insider chatter, he could be heading to Philadelphia to lead one of the league's most ambitious squads. Eagles fans have been clamoring for a quarterback upgrade, and if these rumors hold any weight, it could signal a dramatic shift in the team's strategy, potentially reshaping the NFC hierarchy. The timing of the news is adding to the frenzy. With free agency in full swing and the draft looming, acquiring a talent like Love could give the Eagles an immediate competitive edge. League insiders have noted that the move might not just be about the present. Philadelphia appears to be thinking long-term, positioning itself for sustained dominance in a division that has seen its fair share of turmoil. Coaches and analysts alike are already speculating how Love's skill set will mesh with the Eagles' offensive scheme. Can he elevate the team to new heights? Could this be the quarterback who finally leads them back to the Super Bowl? The speculation is running wild. Social media has been ablaze with reactions. Some fans are ecstatic, touting the signing as a bold statement from the Eagles management. Others are cautious, pointing out that transitioning to a new team always comes with challenges. Yet, the excitement is undeniable. If the deal is officially confirmed, it could go down as one of the most talked-about acquisitions in NFL history, sparking debates that will likely dominate sports talk shows and fan forums for weeks to come. For now, the city of Philadelphia is holding its breath, waiting for official confirmation, while the rumor mill continues to churn. One thing is certain: the Eagles are making headlines, and if Jordan Love does indeed join their ranks, the NFL landscape could be in for a dramatic shakeup. That's a wrap from FlyEaglesFly News. If you want the fastest Eagles updates, subscribe, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Sound off in the comments. Let's talk birds.